My hot take for today is that Pakistani families promote cousin marriage due to the shame of divorce, financial security, and emotional and physical power over their family members. Cousin marriages tie you in so deeply with so many different relations that it becomes impossible for you to leave. You are so tied up that it is impossible for you to make a decision without affecting multiple people in your life. Now, we come from a shame culture, so that's a perfect environment to breed these kind of relationships in, because if you leave or have a problem, they predominantly say that it's good because the family will be there to help you resolve these issues. But actually, a lot of the time when the issues occur, they are ignored and brushed under the carpet. Infidelity, lack of love, lack of intimacy, basically no self-respect and decency. And essentially these kind of arrangements, when your parents tell you, like, we know what's best for you, they know what's best for you from their mindset, from the generation that they were raised in. We have regular discussions about the day and age we live in now, how different it is, how it doesn't reflect society as it used to be, even for just one generation ago. It's a subtle form of manipulation guised in love and guidance. And I genuinely believe that the previous generation thought that they were doing the absolute best for us because that's what they understood. And I remember deep diving in a previous series about our post-colonial slavery mindset. We can't get away from the fact that we've only been an independent country for less than 100 years. Our mindset, our ability to decide what values that we're going to put in place after we've healed from that sort of trauma is basically what our generation is being called to do now. And the exact result of that is divorce, is separation, is people, cutting off certain family members, etc., because they are starting to realize that these subtle forms of manipulation, guiding you to what's right, but actually leading you to betray yourself, is so... If you look at our dynamics, we're still very feudal. We have village mentality, and we have brought that over into our Western countries, which is why we're still having these discussions that we're having now. So it's very important for us to be able to understand what are the real motivations behind this, because a lot of Pakistani families also see getting their child married as, it's a duty for them. And if they don't do it, they've failed. So sometimes they just rush that process. And let's be honest, but they're emotionally and unintelligent compared to this generation. So they had their own motivations. It's important for us to understand that the way they thought doesn't necessarily always correlate to the world that we live in now. So if you're being approached with the whole cousin marriage thing and it's like, is this what's best for you, etc., do your due diligence. Meet the person, have a conversation. If the answer is genuinely no, not because you're being rebellious against your parents, which is what they will initially assume, but the decision at the end of the day is in your hands. Islamically speaking, a nikah without consent is not a valid nikah. And as soon as yes leaves your mouth, you have entered the realms of consent. So now it's your responsibility. And I know it's difficult to stand up and say, no, I don't want to do this, and this isn't right for me, and holding those boundaries strong in front of people that you love. You still can be respectful and loving, but having that fierceness about you that this is my life, and I've been given the autonomy by Allah to live it in the way I see fit, and I will then go forth and answer for whatever decisions I make, takes a very brave soul. But if this is something that scares you, I'd put something in perspective. Living a life that's not yours and making a decision that betrays your sense of self is a much harder burden to carry in the long run. People get over things and they might hold it down and be upset for a very long time, but knowing your importance, understanding that it's not about ego, it's not about audacity, it's about being grateful in the way that you live, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala picked your ruh from Arsh and put it in this body. So I am not going to let this life go to waste. So have some respect for your life. Also, realize that they are potentially coming from a place of love, and it's not to harm you, but you've been given